Also, just a quick note, I'm recording this after I've recorded the rest of the video, so this is a little piece of evidence I forgot to put in there, and it's basically that although I haven't seen the newest episode that came out today, the day I'm uploading this, I've seen the previews for it, and it seems to be centered around Beth's childhood, or rather like her remembering her childhood and stuff like that, because apparently Rick kept her away in these, I don't know what you would even call them, like created worlds, simulated worlds possibly, for long periods of time. And I think this just furthers the theory, because Jerry, like, if you put yourself in his shoes, it would be really awkward to have to raise your ex-wife as your daughter. That'd just be really awkward, and although you love her, it's really awkward. So you could understand why he eventually abandoned her, and why he would put her, like, distance himself from her in all of these ways that he did. Yeah, so back to the video. Woo! Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Trevor Byrne. Welcome back to the Is Rick Really Jerry? Rick and Morty theory. This is part 3, so if you guys haven't seen parts 1 or 2, links are going to be in the description down below, and if you want to check out my channel to see all my other videos, you guys can definitely go watch those. But basically in this video I'm just going to add a little bit more evidence, hopefully some clarity to the theory, and at the end-ish of the video I'm going to be talking about a parallel I saw between Avatar: Legend of Korra and Rick and Morty, which I think is really interesting, even though it's not really related to the theory at all. Okay, so onto the evidence. So something that connects both Rick and Jerry are that technically they're both grandparents. In this theory, Rick's not really the biological grandfather, I guess, of either either Morty or Summer, but he is standing in as their grandfather. And also we know that Gazorpazorp is Morty's son and therefore Jerry's grandson, so they're both technically grandparents, which might just be something, I don't know. Something else is that I can't remember where I'm going with this. Sorry I sound really horrible right now. Or not really horrible, but you get the idea. I have a cold, and it's hot on my ears, which is not a cold, but anyway, back to evidence. So in season 3 episode 5, during the wormhole scene, through that entire scene, there's only like a little bit where, I can't remember his name, but you know, the villain who wanted both Rick and Jerry dead. There's only a few scenes with him in it, actually, and I think this is interesting because most of the interactions in the wormhole are between Rick and Jerry. And then at the very, or almost at the very end of the wormhole scene, we see each of them asking, like, what am I? Or Rick says, what am I? And the villain dude says, what am I? And Jerry, he doesn't ask, he just says, I'm time. I'm literally time. And I think this might be a reference to the fact that eventually he's going to go back in time. Now, in my previous video, in part 2, I talked about some of the ways that Jerry could have gained his extreme intelligence, or Rick aspects, and one of the ways I mentioned was that he could have accidentally had his mind erased, or some of his mind erased, with only fragments left behind, and because Jerry doesn't have any like replacement memory tube like Rick and Morty do, uh, he could have just been given Rick's tube, and therefore a lot of Rick's memories are actually, I forget the word, but it's one of those like time traveling paradoxes where uh, an object. Here, I'll describe one to you. So it's like if if I had a book, or okay, if a future version of me traveled back and handed me a book that says like time travel, uh, back to this date in 50 years, and so then I do what's on the book and I bring the book with me and I give it to the dude, or the younger version of me. Uh, so the book doesn't actually really exist. It never existed before this, and it never existed after this. And I think that might be the way the crew is going with Rick's memories, or a lot of Rick's memories, anyways. Uh, because that would be very interesting if most of Rick's memories aren't actually real and they never existed prior to the time travel and after time travel. And I think this would be very interesting. Okay. That's pretty much the evidence I got for that. Um, Now comes the part of the video where I talk about my Avatar Legend of Korra and Rick and Morty parallels. So, spoilers if you guys haven't seen Legend of Korra. In the first season, the main villains, and I'm saying villains because it's the group, they're all non-benders. Well, except for Amon, who eventually you find out he is a bender, but anyway, he's posing as a non-bender, right? So it's all these equalists who are non-benders fighting against the benders. Now, benders are really the upper class citizens, so to say, and non-benders are the lower class citizens. And Republic City, which was in the first season ruled entirely by a council. The council, all the members except for Tenzin, I'm pretty sure either step down or get killed. I know they all got kidnapped, but I'm not sure if they were killed or not. And then after the council was destroyed, between seasons 1 and 2 of Legend of Korra, they established a presidency, and the president who was elected first was Raiko, who was a non-bender, and one of those, I guess, lower class citizens, because he was a non-bender, not a bender. And I think this is a parallel you can see obviously now in Rick and Morty. There was, at the Citadel, there's the lower class Mortys and the higher class Ricks, and basically, I'm gonna say, the Equalist Revolution is pretty much parallel to the Mortys killing the Rick that was secretly being controlled by evil Morty. I'm gonna create that parallel. It's not much of one, but also, after the council was completely killed or destroyed, they set up a presidency, and the first president who was elected was a Morty, who was one of these lower class citizens, and I just thought that was an interesting parallel between the two shows, and yeah. Oh, something else you should know is that, so if you go back and watch my first two parts, in part 1, in the first like 24 hours of uploading it, I had like 225 views or something like that. And then if you go over to part 2, I only had 4 views like 24 hours after uploading it, and I I just really learned that YouTube likes to promote content that's over 10 minutes long. I just like severely learned that because part 1 was like 11 minutes and something, but part 2 was only 9 minutes and 10 seconds, I believe it was. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to make this over 10 minutes long. So, yeah. I'm not sure if you can still see me in the shot. There, now you can, definitely. But anyway, Trevor Barron signing out, but not really quite yet. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that jazz. And in the comment section down below, tell me like if you like the parallel I drew between the two shows, or if you didn't, say that as well. And also if you believe in the theory and if you have further evidence or evidence against it, because I would really like to know strong evidence against it, because I haven't seen much of like strong evidence against it. Oh, Dodoy, sorry if you already left the video, but I mean, I guess you're not hearing this if you have. But another piece of evidence that I forgot to bring up, so I haven't seen season 3. Hold up, which episode came out today? I haven't seen the one that came out today, okay? And you'll know it because it's the day I uploaded. But I've seen the previews for it, and it looks like Rick, it's just Rick showing well, hello again, ladies and gentlemen. This is another clip because I didn't have enough storage space, so yeah, here comes another clip at you. Basically, in this little section I was just talking about how I think it was funny that in my first 2 parts, part 1 and part 2, my part 1 video, in the first 24 hours, because it was like 11 minutes something seconds long, it got 220-ish views. And then my part 2, it was only 9 minutes and 10 seconds long. Like, same tag, same title, except for it was part 2. And it only got 4 views in the first 24 hours. And it really showed me just how powerful the, like, above 10 minutes makes you, how much YouTube loves videos that are longer than 10 minutes. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in another video. Peace.